Welcome everyone, my name is Joy of NYX Beauty, and today I'm going to be sharing a simple fall makeup look with you. So let's get started. Okay, so one of the things that I try to do when the seasons change is figure out a different look. I love the summertime and I love wearing really bold colors in the summertime, but when fall comes I kind of like to mute my look down a little bit. Okay, so I always start with concealer. My favorite concealer is the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer, and what I do is I buy multiple colors that match my skin. So if you kind of see, if I hold this up to my skin, you can see this lighter color in my face, but then you can see this darker color in my face, in different parts of my face and my body too. So that allows me the flexibility to kind of mix and match how much I use of this one and how much I use of this one throughout the year. So all right, so this is the color Amande. I never knew if it was Amande or Amande. I don't know which, they'll know what you're talking about when you go get it. Amande, I don't know. Okay, so usually I kind of go maybe half and half and kind of see, and then I'll blend as I go. So this is the color Caramel. So I'm kind of using maybe about half on each side of my face. Okay, and then what I like to do so that I don't get my hands dirty, the nice thing about the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer is that you can use, it's light enough that you can use your fingers to kind of blend it out. But what I usually use on a daily basis is just a smooth foundation brush. And this is kind of one of those brushes, unfortunately, that doesn't have a brand name to it. I buy all different price ranges of brushes, but I'll try my best to share some information on where I got this one from. I like it because it's a double-headed brush, so you can use it a lot of different ways. But I'll just take the foundation brush, and as I pat the concealer into my skin, I'll kind of go around in a circular motion so that I'm blending the two shades together as I also kind of work it into my skin. So this is the quickest way to kind of blend the colors in. As you can see, I have a lot of that lighter color in the middle of my face, but then my forehead is a bit dark. It collects a lot of that sun that I get in the summertime. So you never want to have any harsh edges, so I tend to blend the color out starting in my eye area, and then I'll just put a little bit on my actual eyelid, and then I'm just kind of making sure that I've blended out any harsh areas. So you can see it's a little bit lighter than my forehead, so I'm just working it up a little bit. I do like to make sure that the inside of my face has a little bit of a lightness to it. So this is my way of kind of doing that. So work over to the other side, and I'm kind of patting down with the foundation brush, going around in a circular motion. I wear glasses on a daily basis, so I have permanent dark spots on the side of my nose that they end up being covered because I usually wear glasses on a daily basis. But when I do go out with my husband, go out to have fun, I have a heavy duty concealer that I use to cover those a bit better. I'll show those in a different video. But the NARS, the nice thing about the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer is it has a very natural finish. So it looks really nice. It looks kind of like skin. And depending on the colors that you use, people won't always know that you they might not think you have anything on. Like if I used this darker color, and since it really kind of matches my body, and blend that in a little bit, depending on how much I use and where I put it, most people probably wouldn't even know I had anything on. So you can see I didn't use a whole lot of product, but I was able to blend it around a good portion, a good part of my face, most of my face. And I'm gonna end up doing a little more work in this forehead area. But yeah, that's pretty much what I do with my concealer. This is my personal little brush. They're called a Feather Flamingo little brushes, and these are good for just getting little hairs off your face. Ideally, I would have done this before I did the concealer, but hey, sometimes I forget. And I'll just take this and get any little hairs from around that area, because sometimes that can cast a bit of darkness. Even if you're, especially if you're doing like a look where you don't have a whole lot of foundation on, which, you know, this is more of a daily makeup look, so I'm just kind of spreading a little bit of concealer around my face to have a bit of lighter coverage. So I kind of want to eliminate any issues in there. So okay, the next thing I'm gonna do is use my Cover FX Pressed Mineral Foundation Powder. It's a little ugly, I'm sorry. I use it every day. But this, I absolutely love this product. I use this foundation powder on a daily basis in various ways. So what I do is, this is a Sephora double-headed brush. One side I typically use for my powder foundation, and the other side I use for bronzer. But I'm using the foundation side and just kind of swirling it around in my foundation right here. And then I'm just gonna kind of stipple this over my face. So as you can see, the concealer I used was a bit lighter, but the Cover FX is more kind of matching my body. So when you're picking out foundation shades, you want to make sure that you match your body. You can have a little bit of lightness in the middle of your face, and that's kind of, you know, the whole highlighting and contouring, and you know, I like that effect too. But if you don't match your body, it's gonna look almost like you have a floating head. So one of the things that I've always found tricky is when you have a season like fall and you're transitioning from like the super warmth of the summer, and then you're going down into the winter, and your complexion is constantly changing. Or at least for me, I feel like every month I'm a slightly different color. So I'm always trying to look and check and see, does that match? And it looks like this is the shade N90. So it looks like N90 is still a pretty good match for my complexion. I actually have this formulation in several different shades. Let's see. And that's what I do to make sure that I can match all the different parts of my face. But the majority, you would want the majority that you put to kind of match, you know, like your chest area primarily, because that's what you see. You see this when you're looking at my complexion. This is what you see. Okay, so I'm gonna try to find my N85 color, which I haven't yet put in my makeup bag that I carry. Because like I said, I tend to change a little bit each month. So you can see the difference between N90 and N85. N85 is a little lighter. So I think we're kind of at the point in the year where, you know, I still like to have a little bit of lightness here. So I'm going to use the N85 and just kind of lightly, this is not necessary with the NARS formulation. A lot of times I don't even set it under the eye, but I'm just using a very, very little bit of powder. I kind of like how it looks without setting with powder and just letting it dry down. So I'm just using just a little bit. I said I'm not I don't really like very heavy coverage foundation. I like to just use what you need to use to make sure that the skin looks natural. So, like I said, oftentimes I don't even set under my eye. I'll just let it kind of dry down And NARS is a nice formula to just kind of let it dry down like that. So that has a little bit of the lightness. And then the N90, like I said, that kind of matches my body a bit, so that my face is in line with everything in my body. So I'm checking here. So that looks pretty good. So I'm going to keep going. What I do next is I fix my brows. So I am using the NYX Eyebrow Pencil in, what color is this? Dark brown. So it has a little bit of a redness to it, which is nice because, you know, I have a bit of redness in my skin, especially around the edges. So especially for women of color, you know, depending on your complexion, you may want to make sure, if you have darker hair like me and you're looking for an eyebrow pencil, that it has a little bit of that warmth into it, because you don't want that ashy, like an ashy brown or ash tone, gray tone type of color. You want it to have a bit of warmth to it. Okay, so I'm just brushing my brows up, and then I have a very, I consider it to be simple eyebrow routine where I will just draw the line underneath first. And I like this pencil because it kind of, pencils like this that have different edges to them. First of all, it's mechanical, so I don't have to worry about sharpening it. And then I tend to use different edges for different things. So right now, I'm just kind of literally drawing a line, and I'll get it as straight as I can. I used to spend, when I was younger, a lot of time perfecting brows, and that can be really frustrating. They don't have to be completely perfect. You know, you do the best you can, like I said, especially if this is something, you know, you're not going to a wedding or something like that on a daily basis. You do the best you can. So I want to just make sure that the first thing that I'm doing, which is kind of like a quick technique to make sure that you get symmetry with your brows, is just drawing that bottom line in. And you can see that I'm using very light strokes here. Okay. See, so this arch seemed to be a little higher than this arch. So I kind of drew it down a little bit. So that looks a whole lot more even to me. And then what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna kind of continue to draw like feather-like hairs, but I'm going up. Instead of drawing a straight line this way, I'm going up and over. Like I said, no perfection here. You know, I think that sometimes the desire or need to have perfect brows on a daily basis, you suck too much time into that. It's like, I gotta go. I got things to do. Most people aren't going to sit here and stare at your face like this trying to figure out what you got right and wrong, so on a daily basis. So you just kind of want to do the best you can. So this one, since I had to kind of go down a little far to make these the bottom line kind of match, I don't need to fill up as much in the middle. I'm just going to kind of draw a couple of feather-like strokes in the front. Let's see. And not too much back here, because I feel like I did a lot of that work. Gonna come back over here a little bit, and I'm just kind of looking my eyes back and forth to make sure that I look at different points. So I'm looking at this point to see how similar they are, and I'm kind of looking at this section, and that's typically what I do to get brows symmetrical. I'll look at different sections to see how close they are in terms of matching. And then I'll go back and forth between the two. Try to mirror what you do on one side, you try to mirror that on the other side. So that looks pretty good. The top of this arch is a little high, and I think I probably need to spend a little bit of time plucking my eyebrows a little bit to get them a little more symmetrical. You don't have to do as much work that way. I've been really busy, so I need to just sit down and do it. So what I like about this brow pencil too is it has a little brush on it. So a lot of times, you know, I won't put any product on it. I'll just take the actual brush when I want to fix a line, and then I'll just kind of heavily drag it across the skin. That is usually enough to fix it. Because sometimes when you, you know, I know a lot of people use concealer, and that's perfectly fine. But sometimes when you do things like that, it'll create like this little light spot. Like if you think about the complexion, all these little subtle changes, they kind of add to the final result. So already on my skin, I have a layer of the concealer, which was already 2 colors blended together. And then in this area, I already blended 2 shades of powder. So if I go on top of that and take one of the original concealers, I mean, it'll probably look okay, but I mean, you know, from an artist's mind, you know, you have 4 or 5 different similar flesh tone colors that have been blended as opposed to just this one, and you would have to blend that out a little bit to make sure that it didn't kind of like stand out, or just use a very minimal amount. So a very easy way to get around that is to just use a brush. Okay, so that's a little more symmetrical, but I don't want to spend too much time on the brow, so we're gonna keep going. And but yeah, that's what I typically do to fix brows, is I'll actually just use the brush. Okay, in addition to that, what I like to use to set my brows is this is another NYX product. I really like NYX products for brows. This is the Tinted Brow Mascara and the color Espresso. And I like to use this because I like makeup to look as natural as possible. I like to, whatever I put on my face, I like it to look like it kind of belongs there. So this kind of helps the brows not look so drawn in. It helps them have a little more of a vibrancy. And I will take this product, which, here, let me put a little bit on my hand so you can see. It's pretty much like similar to the color that I put on my face. It's not extremely pigmented. You know, different brands have different versions of this product, but I like the NYX one because it's not too heavy, and I feel like it's easier to not overdo them. Or at least what I feel is, you know, like I said, I like a very natural look. So I'll just take a little bit of that product and run it through the brow hair, kind of like this. And I'm still kind of going up and out to the edges. But for today, I'm gonna use this color as the bronzer color on my skin and see how that works. Let's see. All right, so usually what I do when I'm going into my face with the darker color is I will start on the outer edges, because if it's a bit too much, then I can fix it. So yeah, this color barely shows up on my skin in the summertime, but it's a nice look. And so on a daily basis, I just kind of do a very soft wash of whatever that deeper shade is around my face. As soft as possible. I use a soft brush. I dip the product in. I dip the brush in the product, and then I'll just kind of go along the edge of my cheek. I work my way up to my forehead, and I'm kind of going down. Like I said, I got a big old brand in there. It does a lot of work, so you know it needs its space. So I kind of go down to where my forehead starts to bend, and that's what I kind of make a little bit darker. Let's see, and then the same on the other side, kind of my eye area. So I'll take the same product, and this is again a Sephora double-headed brush that I'll put in the description, and then I just roll the product. I roll the product in the brush, and then I'll just kind of go back and forth. And I have hooded eyes, so I do have a crease. I mean, my brow bone does my brow bone right here, the bone that is right above your eyeball, I can feel it right here. So that is where I will blend the product. That's like a natural bend in my eye, even though you can't see it. I mean, you can see it with me going, hey, but you typically cannot see my actual lid too much with my eyes open. So just to make sure everything on my face kind of is blended together, I like to use similar shades throughout my face. I'm doing the same on the other eye. It's just very, very simple. And then what I'll do is I'll just kind of go from the inner part of my eye, and then I'll just gotta work my way down my nose. This is the spine of my nose. And then I'll just work this same fluffy brush down the side. I'll just keep it very simple. Not too much. Like I said, if you were doing this in real time, this would be a really fast, easy process. And I'll take that same shade, the other side of the brush, which I like if you're actually needing to like kind of like lay down color. And I'll go under my eye too, because you don't want to forget the under part of your eye too. That helps it, you know, I know that's kind of like, oh, smoky eye when you have that kind of smoke look on the top and on the bottom. But you know, it's kind of all a part of, I feel like, making sure the face kind of blends together nicely. If you have the product on top of your eye, like this, a product like this that is actually kind of defining the eye, you just want to put a little bit on the bottom too. I have this really, really pretty palette that I picked up, I think this past fall, from Huda. I don't know how to pronounce her name, I'm sorry. Huda Beauty. This is the Warm Brown Obsessions palette. It's so pretty. I love the colors in this palette. Excuse me, it's getting over a cold. As I said, I have a bit of a hooded lid, so it's helpful to me that they're mostly matte, so I can just kind of focus on the matte colors. But this gold is really pretty too, for those of you all who have more lid space that you can see. This gold is a gorgeous color. So I'm gonna use a couple of the colors from this palette and just kind of pull that into my makeup. This shade is pretty similar, well, to my summer bronzer that I use. But I like this color a lot. Like I said, if you're rushing in the morning, it's easy to use these earth tone colors like this, because they blend really nicely and quickly. So I'll just layer a little more of this color, this one right here, into my crease again. Okay, and then what I'm gonna do is I'll take this really pretty gold color in the middle, and then I'll just lay a bit of that on my lid. And I'm just patting back and forth with the brush. So you can still see a little bit of pop of that gold. It's pretty. All right, next I will, don't laugh at me, this pencil, which I love, is almost gone. I'm very sad. I just need to get another one. This is the Urban Decay pencil, and this one is the color 0. And then what I'll do is I will just very quickly draw really short lines across my lid, so that they don't have to be perfect. Sometimes I do this at stoplights. I do what I need to do if I'm rushing. And then I'm just gonna smudge a little bit underneath my eye. Like I said, just put a little bit on top and a little bit on bottom. You would never want the line below your eye to be stronger than the one on top. You would want the stronger line to be on top. So you just want to just do a little bit on bottom. And then next, I'm gonna use some mascara. So this is the Benefit BADGAL Bang mascara. I got a little sample size in a Sephora box that I purchased earlier this summer. I've been trying this one out. I like it. And I'm just feathering the mascara around the base of my lash and pulling it up. Nice and simple. And then the bottom, I'm doing the same. And just gonna do the same on the other side. Like I said, this is kind of like a routine for the day, so you don't want to go a little overboard. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. It's mascara, so if you like more mascara, then do more coats. But for me, I typically just do one coat. Yeah, like I said, this is something I usually really kind of rush through on a daily basis. My favorite blush that I like to use, one of my favorite blushes is the NARS Taj Mahal shade. It's this beautiful orange shade. It looks wonderful on women of color. It's very natural looking blush shade. This is, I know that looks scary. It's like, I'm not putting it on my skin. But this is, it creates a beautiful glow. So I'm gonna use that. So I'm just gonna dip it in the blush and then shake off a little bit of excess. And I go right into, I smile, and then I go right into the apples of my cheek and blend out a little bit. See how that just kind of brings my face alive? And then the other side, blend out a little bit. Right now I'm using this Eco Tools brush, and the highlighter I'm using right now is actually, it's from Wet n Wild. It's called Awesome Blossom, and it's again just a very beautiful kind of like warm gold that looks really nice on women of color. So if you see the two shades together, you have this orange on my complexion, and you have this gold that I'm gonna work in. So I'll just take the edges of the fan brush and just shake, dip it in the product, but then shake off a little bit. Then I just smile and go around the edges, and that's how I kind of blend out my blush and apply highlighter at the same time. It's right on the edges. And what I'll do too is just, then I'll take the product down the middle of the brush, and then I'll just a very quick, almost like very light stamp in the middle of my face. So this is the NYX again. Oh, funny. I like NYX. NYX Lip Liner in brown. This is one of, this is like a daily go-to liner for me. And I'll keep my pencil straight up and down like this, and I start in this little section where you have like this kind of like this whole little look going in the middle of your face. That's called the Cupid's bow. I start in the Cupid's bow, outlining the Cupid's bow, and then I just work my way down to the edges, the top edges. And then I'll just fill the bottom in, and this is again another NYX product, Soft Matte Lip Cream in Abu Dhabi. I saw this combination a lot on social media, and I actually purchased it this summer after seeing it on a lot of different people. It's so pretty. You see it's just kind of like a soft pink. It almost looks like my natural lip color, which is wonderful to find a nude that matches your lip color. And then on top of that, I like to use the NYX Butter Gloss in Praline to just have this be a nice neutral lip. Put a little bit of gloss back on the lips. I love nude pink lip shades. Good. And I hope you found this helpful. If you did like this video and you'd like to check out some more videos I have coming, please make sure to like the video. Make sure to subscribe to my channel. Please do leave a comment. I will reply. I love chatting with other people, so I will definitely do that. Thank you so much, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.